160 duelists entered in for the chance to walk away with a PlayStation 5 computer monitors. Actually, this is probably one of the most insane online tournaments that we have seen. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. Kong's Cards had a huge free tournament for everybody to get the chance to participate in, and they are crazy. Now remember, you can use discount code MCO40 on their website and save. Your breakdown for this huge event: top 16 most represented decks were Unchained and Rescue Ace out here, tightening it up, showcasing that both of these decks want to be the main decks of the format. Now, following it up here, surprisingly, we had 2 tier elements. We had 2 Labyrinth. Labyrinth had an amazing showing out of this event, like crazily. We also had 2 Dragon Link, an Infernoble, a Sprite Duelist came out of nowhere here, showed us that, hey, you know, you need to be very aware of what this deck does. Only 1 Purely. Wow, Purely's numbers are getting reduced. And then we had 1 Fire King. Super excited to see that. Now, as we shift on into top 8 here, what happened to all of our massive representation here? Because this thins out quickly. Most represented deck in top 8 is actually Unchained. Once again, Unchained has kind of felt like it's somehow ended up above the rest of the format just a little bit. Not a lot, but it's been enough that, you know, the deck kind of feels a little bit better. And then you had 1 tier elements, 1 Labyrinth. Somehow our Fire King Duelist managed to make top 4, which I'm super excited about. You know, we've seen Fire Kings kind of struggling out here for a majority of these online events, but you know, it's usually top 16. So to see it actually make top 8 is really good. We also had Dragon Link, Infernoble, and Rescue Ace. So for this to be your turnover, it's very strong. It shows that the meta has pretty much been what we've expected for a majority of this time. Now let's pass on over to those deck lists. Winning our event is actually none other than tier elements. I am actually not that surprised to see that this deck is performing well. To be honest with you, a lot of the main deck feels pretty standard. I mean, you're on Triple Scream, you got the Super Polys built into the main deck. The interesting things like post side decking down here are 1 Baldrake and the 1 Truest Worm, actually. Interesting little combination of friends to help you out. And also, I mean, the Baldrake should probably be live because, I mean, you got plenty of little dark monsters in the deck to use. Okay, next up here we have Labyrinth coming in 2nd place, sporting off the power of Triple Pot of Extravagance. I have noticed that this deck has liked having the shufflers in the side deck. This is something that we've seen a few people kind of using. And then, of course, playing the Triple Chaos Angel with the double Doomsday Star, you are maximizing on Extrav, which means you can lose those powerful resources, which means you're going to have to find ways to kind of substitute that. And I know it stinks, but that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. And, of course, our 3rd place Fire King list. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is extremely streamlined. The 1 Diabell Star, Triple Wanted. See the double copies of Sanctuary. I think this is probably the best competent build that we've seen out of this tournament series so far. And of course, your triple copies of Skill Drain. You know, post side decking, you want to bring in the good stuff here to bring down the pressure on your opponent so that you're literally set up and good to go. Deck feels really good. I'm genuinely impressed with this. And our other top 4 competitor is actually none other than Unchained here at this point. Still playing the DDD package as per usual. Now, this build is bringing in Drolls. I think this has been one of the most consistent decks in the room that has been wanting to play Droll. You need the hand traps. And what good ways to deny your opponent chance to play the game than, you know, roll out the Droll and Lockbird. 1 Veiler is also kind of interesting. Post side decking, we also bring in an additional Veiler and, of course, the books. Okay. Next up here, we have Dragon Link. I'm glad to see that Dragon Link is evolving at a pretty good rate. 43 cards, you are sporting off Drolls, you have Ashes, you do have 1 Space Rock in here. Now that's interesting. I guess like you get your tech options. You have the Scarlight for time. Of course, you have Book of Moons for additional defensive pressure. Wow. And then, of course, Thrust to be able to toggle on into whatever you need. Looks good. Also, only 2 evenly. Interesting little tech choices for this build. Next up here, we have Infernal Bowl with my favorite hand, Ripper. I tell you, I'm really enjoying how many people are abusing DDR with the Aqua Dolphin for, you know, the one time it does come up. And then, of course, we are doing the Diabell Star plays. Why not, right? It ends up being a free draw, free deck then. You know, put the level 7 on the field. Yeah, it does everything that you kind of want it to do. And we are citing in the 1 Sinful Spoils of Subversion down here. So, or Subversion. Alright, we also have Rescue Ace, and it's our other favorite card that we've been seeing infinite of out here. The fact that, you know, this deck freely just gets to board in enemy controllers and control, you know, literally the fields of the opponent, you know, or in the mirror match, as we like to say, call over your opponent's turbulence. It's our turbulence now. I also see that we're citing a Fire Engine and 2 copies of Impulse. Okay, we're exploring some little different options for, you know, post-side decking. Okay, interesting. And our last top 8 here is our other Unchained Duelist. Sporting off Dark Contract Gate as per usual. We're on Triple Valor. No draws in the main deck. We actually side those in. And of course, everybody's favorite Sangan that you get to call in post-side decking and then laugh at your opponent. And of course, we have the Exceed Encores in here to assist us with whatever terrible matchups the Purely Duelist might try to throw at us. Looks, outside of that, I mean, incredibly standard. So that's our top 8. Now we shift down to 9th place. Wow, Rescue Ace, barely missing out here. We do see the Fire Attacker that is... This doesn't come up all the time, I've noticed. A lot of builds will just choose not to play this. I do like it for the Draw 2, Shift 1. You do side the 1 Thrust. We are main decking triple Book of Eclipse. Honestly, a full board flip can actually help this deck out pretty much. And, of course, our Firewall play that we've all come to know and love for this pile of cards. Next up here, we have more Durgan Link. And, of course, we're sporting off 44 cards for this bad boy. I don't see anything here really too crazy in the main deck. Everything looks pretty standard. I mean, you also cite in like Thrust into the Herald. That's incredibly standard. You do see the Pankratops that we've seen starting to get a nice little increase in power with the meta. You want to see this card as the going second board breaker to assist you to, you know, take care of these really terrible matchups that do exist out there. And of course, we have more Unchained. Still sporting off our DDD package. I see that this build did go the route of the droplets here to kind of assure, you know, hey, you know, we can board break, set up, and do our thing. I see that we do have Thrust here as well. And then, of course, the Mistaken Arrest. Yeah, we've been kind of, it's been pretty common to see Mistaken Arrest doing its thing. What's not so common is this deck actually taking advantage of Super Poly, actually. I like the idea and things that they're trying here. Okay. Next up here, we have 50 card Sprite. Holy moly. Talk about dumping in all of these engines here and just having this work out for you. And of course, I mean, we see the Nimble Sunfish package. We've actually quite enjoyed what this little package can do for, you know, get a mid-battle phase, go ahead and start climbing on up as you kind of need to here. And you can actually do some pretty interesting things because of this package. Outside of that, yeah, pretty standard. More Labyrinth. Hey, this build chose to play 2 Extravagance and triple copies of Pot of Prosperity. Interesting. So you really got to think about your extra deck in here. They also only chose to play 2 Chaos Angels when you're burning through this much extra deck. Like, ugh, that's weird. They also had probably one of the most extreme Bestial packages that I have seen out here. Okay. And then, of course, we have Purely out here. Purely making it into, like, 14th place. That's actually rough. We are playing the 2 Fenrir. This tends to be a little bit more normal. See post-side deck, we bring in some Judgments, some Cosmic, some Bells, and then when we sit on some Summon Limit, yeah, our favorite no card on this channel, right? Making sure that your opponent goes no to getting the chance to play the game. Yeah, it's pretty much up there with whatever other unfun things you want to see. And then, of course, we have Tier Elements, but we're playing Nemesis Flag and Escantos in here with the Horus package. Okay. I see that we have our dear friends Mudora and the Shufflers and the Millers, all the standard stuff you're used to seeing in this deck. And then, of course, we do have the one Scatter Shot for time. You never really feel like the best tier player in the world until you're milling Scatter Shot, pinging your opponent for time. Yeah, it feels absolutely good. And our last list here is some more Rescue Ace. Double Diabellstar for this build. We are main decking 2 talents. No thrust. None on the side, none on the main. And then we also board in Book of Eclipses and enemy controllers down here to kind of help things out. And just find it very interesting that they're opting to not have access to any thrust. Okay, well, this is definitely interesting. So that is your breakdown for the biggest Kong's Cards tournament that we have seen to date. Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.